Here comes Chiara van Niekerk in the Wingfield Motors and best price for my car Golf. She's also now in Class C. She's there in that 10th position. That 14 car now inside, that's a Gary Manwaring. Then behind him is Paul Minnick. As the rest of the field work their way through, Daniel Kutsia. He'll be making his way here into P6, I presume. Yes, he will. And then there's Eugene Gaspar. Got to get that surname right. Augen Gaspar, that's right. Yes, well, I got the surname right. Augen Gaspar.
It's spelled exactly the same as Eugene. It just doesn't have the E on the end.
Yes,
so, according to Michelle Albert,
got the surname right.
I got it. I eventually got it. Augen Gaspar. And what a lovely guy. He was here yesterday practicing as well. He did a quick practice session, said, gotta go, and went back to the work thereafter. And he was having fun with that silver BMW. He finds himself down in 13th position, so that Frankie's the 7th row of the grid on the inside, just in front of the shopping center. I mean the block of flats.
Yeah, that's like a massive Chrysler of Andre, I think it's Andre van der Merwe that's in that Chrysler. And watch out there for Nias Modak, Class X. He sits there on the front row of the grid. Evert de Toy in the Ford Falcon, working his way through as well. Lee Fielding, and then the two chase vehicles. One is the chase vehicle, the other one is the medical car that follows the field around, as the safety vehicle is leading them into turn number 2. And Marco Retta and Nias Modak is on the front row of the grid. Then Joseph Hendricks is there, Jess Huggett's there, Cody Alberts is right in there, Daniel Kutsia is there. This is going to be good stuff as we watch them work their way around. Gary Manwaring, Graham van Rooyen, Chiara van Niekerk, Paul Minnick, just to name a few, as the cars make their way through the kink towards Interceptor Corner, and that is turn number 3.
Well, Frankie, we see Shane Smith and Imad Modak coming off the back end of the pack with Anton Jacobs and Lee Fielding, two of the old hands that have been out there. But I think it's going to be interesting on the front row of the grid, Marco Retta and Nias Modak on the front rows of the grid with Yusuf Hendricks, Jesse Huggett. That is your front four. Jesse Huggett, the first of the VW products out there amongst the BMWs. And that's going to be pretty interesting to check how they're going to play that one out. Cody Alberts and Daniel Kutsia, both of them pretty quick on the third row.
I just picked up Gaza. If you look over the top of our monitors, there's a white Golf 1 that's been pushed off the circuit there by the marshals. I don't think we'll be able to pick him up with our cameras, but he is in trouble. He's that Golf. So he's not going to take part in this one. Safety vehicle is leading them down the back straight. The Killarney straight, the safety car leads them down. Lovely sight there of Clubman's cars. Oliver Hintenhouse, he's in Class E, and he sits there in P7 with that white number 76 BMW. Heading down the back straight, he is right in there with that motor car of his. Relatively new name to me, Oliver Hintenhouse.
I was going to say a very new name,
yeah.
Not even relatively. I think we've only seen him once out on circuit so far.
This is true.
So class A, B, C, D, and E, and F, and X that is out there. And nice to see old Ivan Valant out there as well.
I actually had a chat to him this morning and said, please don't get it wrong for the third time in a row in turn 1. He said to me, both times wasn't my fault. It doesn't matter. Just keep it on the tarmac this time.
Sounds like married life. It wasn't me, Ma. All right, here we go. As they come up towards the line. Classes A, B, C, D, E, F, and X. The X being new car driver combinations that have not completed 2 races to date on the same day. Start and finish. Onto the line they come and down towards turn number 1. They're going to go. Who's going to be able to get the whole shot?
Well, that car you saw popping and spluttering, that is Nias Modak, and he's dropped all the way down there. I think that's a turbo. that was popping of that thing. He seems to have picked up the pace again. Yes, there he goes. He sits in that 5th position as they race down towards turn number 2. And it is Kutsia that's having a look up there. We'll have a look, see who's moved up there into that P1, but up into 2nd is Cody Alberts on his outside through the kink. Here's Marco Retta. Jess Huggett says, you guys are going nowhere. I'm right in there as they work their way now into turn number 3, and right there in the fight again as they work their way out of interceptor corner is that BMW of Nias Modak.
Jess Huggett, Cody Alberts, and I think that is Marco Retta fighting it out there for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. That's going to be one hell of a battle. They're very, very close on time as they work their way down the back main, down towards turn number 5. So, can Retta do a double-header like he did last time around? I don't think so. I think it's going to be a different ball game today.
Right, making their way out of turn number 5 through Fostron corner. Work their way back towards us. There you see them. They are literally side by side as they work their way towards us. Lap number 1 is in the bag as they head into turn number 1. Racing down there as they work their way into turn number 1. All 5 of those cars are busy making their way out of turn 1. And it is being led there by Marco Retta. Retta sits out there in that 1st position. Daniel Kutsia is in 2nd. It doesn't show on your screen at all, but that car is there in that 2nd position. And then there's another fight, and Nias Modak's got trouble. Modak's got issues there in turn number 2, and he gets overtaken there by Jess Huggett and by Cody Alberts as they work their way towards interceptor corner, turn 3.
Well, through turn 3 they go out of interceptor. Jesse Huggett leading out that group of 3 now as they work their way up the straight. Marco Retta has gone to the front end of the pack. I just see Jesse Huggett has dropped a little bit back from there out into the back main. There goes somebody running very wide, picking up a bit of dampness on the outside of the circuit. Down towards turn number 5 they go. It's Retta versus Modak. Modak's got a very quick motor car, so does Retta. Down into turn number 5 they go. Who's going to be able to get through there in the right format? It's all about Retta. Retta's holding Modak out. It's Jess Huggett, then Cody Alberts directly in behind that.
That is the first 4 working their way under the City of Cape Town Bridge into turn number 1, and Nias Modak slows down. Modak slows down and pulls that BMW into the pit area. That's a game over there for Nias Modak as the leaders make their way out of turn number 1. But there's lots of other little fights happening going into turn 2 now. I see that JP Share is involved in a fight there as well, and just ahead of them is that Golf of Graham van Rooyen that's working its way towards turn number 2 with a Joseph Hendricks in there, and I think that Share is having a fight in turn 2 with that number 14 car of Gary Manwaring.
Well, they're starting to spread out just a little bit now, and yes, our leaders coming down into turn number 4. Marco Retta, the fastest man out there, 123.769. So the weather has gotten a whole heap better since early hours of this morning. The leading Class B car, as always, Daniel Kutsia.
Right, Lee Fielding's going very slow into turn number 2 as well, but let's have a look at that fight going down the back straight. The leaders, that's all 4 of them that's bunched up there into turn number 5 into a Fostron corner and working their way out of Fostron corner. This is the leading group that's working its way towards us. That's Marco Retta that sits out there in P1. Jess Huggett is in 2nd, followed by Daniel Kutsia and by Cody Alberts as the 4 of them race down towards turn number 1.
Oh, there's a bit of smoke that's trailing off the back of Marco Retta, the Progress Precision car, as he goes to turn number 1. Let's hope that it's just a bit of overfuel. Jess Huggett has just done the fastest lap out there. Up the Jabir straight as Daniel Kutsia. Oh, Cody Alberts late on the brakes. Can he turn that ton of bricks? That's 1,280 kilograms. That's including the fat boy inside there. I mean, Cody Alberts, as he works his way through the kink down towards the interceptor corner. Look at the battle that's going on behind that. Behind Alberts, it's Hendricks doing a lovely job. And then we got another, one of the first Mark 1 Golfs.
Yeah, that group is going through turn 3 now into interceptor corner. Joseph Hendricks. Right behind him is Graham van Rooyen. Behind him is JP Share. Behind JP Share is Gary Manwaring, followed by Paul Minnick. as that group works its way up the Tygerberg Straight and races towards turn number 4, Saddle Sweep.
Well, they're spread out all over the show now. Daniel could see the leading Class B car from Graham from Roy and JP Share. The leading Class C car is in fact that little golfer, Yusuf Hendricks. There's a new kid on the block in Class C.
Yeah, Yusuf Hendricks in that BMW working his way down into turn number 5. Then Alvin Gaspar is involved in a fight as well, and I think that's with Oliver Hintenhouse. Yes, it is. He's having a fight with Hintenhouse into turn number 5, followed there by the Alfa Romeo, the GTV6 of Ewald Weiland.
Yeah, the man with a smile on his face, Ewald Weiland, as he works his way up towards us. And, well, somebody's got, that's Paul Minnick. Paul Minnick slows it right down. The gold-colored Mark 1 Golf with the semi-panel beater driver's side door slows it all down. Cody Alberts going through turn number 2, works his way up onto the back end of that very quick BMW, but Jesse Huggett's on the move. Jesse Huggett at 123.277, closing down on our leader. It's Marco Retta from Progress Precision Engineering that's moved away from oval track and into main circuit and making a name for himself on his second outing on this circuit.
To the double right-hander, that is a Saddle van der Merwe sweep. Down the back main they go. Marco Retta working his way down the back main, being chased down there by Jesse Huggett. Daniel Kutsia has been hunted down here by Cody Alberts as the 4 of them work their way down the back main towards turn number 5 into Fostrom corner. There's nothing behind them, and only then do we see Yusuf Hendricks coming to view, followed there by Graham van Rooyen, JP Share and Gary Manwaring.
Well, let's have a look at that Class C battle. That's a pretty interesting one. That's Yusuf Hendricks, that's 5th overall. Next up in Class C is in fact Alvin Gasper, and then Kiara van Niekerk. The lady from Wingfield Motors finds herself 3rd overall in Class C with a Mark 1 Golf.
Folks at home, just give us chance. We've got problems with our monitors over here, and we've got the technicians from IMUSAT that's sorting it out, so please bear with us as we continue with the commentary.
Oliver Hintenhouse will be the next man coming through, but oh, look at this. Hintenhouse, as he works his way through, is very close there to Eugene Gasper. Gasper goes for the inside line. Hintenhouse holds the outside. Oh, he's late on the brakes. Works his way through. Ewald Weiland says, that's fine. You guys fight it out. I'll show you what I can do with a GTV6.
Right, Ewald Weiland with an Alpha GTV6 sitting behind this fight. Algon Gasper, and right behind him is Oliver Hintenhouse. And then that old stalwart with the old stalwart car, the GTV6, and he's kept it clean so far, is Ewald Weiland.
Just behind that, Kiara van Niekerk as she comes out turn number 2, going through towards the kink and interceptor corner. Nothing in front of her, nothing behind her. She can just concentrate on racing the circuit. In fact, there's a massive gap behind her, so she can concentrate on trying to close up a little bit more on the front end. Talking about the front end, coming up towards us now, the Progress Precision Engineering entry comes through of Marco Retta. It has been noted by Emil Brandt on the radio that there is calls from the marshals saying there's smoke out of the back of that motor car. Jesse Huggett closing down. Daniel could see it just ahead of Cody Alberts. That's your front 4. And then behind that is going to be, well, Daniel could see is falling back. Daniel Kutsia is falling out. I don't know where he is. He has not come across the line. We've lost him somewhere along the line, Daniel Kutsia.
But that fight is on for 3rd position. Through the kink they go, racing towards interceptor corner. It is Daniel Kutsia. Right on his case is Cody Alberts. That car was wagging a hoo-hoo. And that Golf there almost getting into trouble. That is Adam Omar. And he runs out in Class F as he had to keep way of that fight of Kutsia and Alberts heading now down the back straight.
Yeah, Kutsia and Alberts on their way down the back straight, and they're going to start picking up some back markers as well. Jesse Huggett still holding sway on the back end there of Marco Retta. They're on lap number 6. It's 2 to go. Marco Retta now goes fastest, 123, 113. The circuit's getting better and better as they go through this race. Coming out in front of us now, it's Marco Retta. Marco Retta is doing a brilliant job, but Jess Huggett is closing. Is Jess Huggett going to have the fastest lap time as they come through now? No, he's not. A 23.3 is Marco Retta, 23.113, but there's still smoke draining out the back of that car, Frankie, every time he goes through turn 1.
Well, the back markers have now got there in between that fight between Daniel Kutsia and Cody Alberts. That means that Cody has now lost a lot of ground to Daniel Kutsia, John De Silva, and Lee Fielding with the two back markers that they picked up at just the wrong place, as the leaders have got half a lap to go before they see the checkered flag. They're working their way now out of turn 3 interceptor corner.
Yep, going out towards the Sarl sweep. Oh, Jesse Huggett's closing. Jesse Huggett is closing. He's late on the brakes. Can you believe it? 60 plus years of age. Multiple South African champion all over the back of Retta. He's right on the back bumper. He's right on the back bumper, but the BMW outpowers him as he works his way down the back main.
There's just a lot more kilowatts under that bonnet of that red Marco Retta BMW into turn 5 for the final time. Into Pertamina Fostron corner they go. The race will be for the checkered flag. The flag is out. Who's going to get to the line first? The Chrysler comes through to start another lap, but the power of the BMW will outdo the Jetta, and Marco Retta comes home in P1, followed by Jesse Huggett. Then it's Daniel Kutsia, followed there by Cody Alberts.
Well, that's the front four that have come through. We wait for the rest of the guys to come through behind that. Joseph Hendricks, will he be the next man to come through? Yep, yeah. And he wins out Class C as well.
Behind him, Graham van Rooyen. Behind Van Rooyen, it is JP Share that crosses the line. This Golf, that's a back marker. And then the next one towards us, that is Gary Manwaring in the 14 car that finishes his race.
Up, and that is a win in Class D for Gary Manwaring, Eugene Gaspar, and then it is Ewald Veiland that comes through as well. So Gaspar ends up a second in class. He'll be pretty tough there. Kiara van Niekerk coming through third overall in Class C. So she's looking at some trophies for today.
Oliver Hintenhouse just got to the flag ahead of Kiara. And then we're looking for that office block coming through that Chrysler of Andre van der Merwe. And that is it, making its way through turn 5 Fostron.
So it's gone from a block of flats to the office block. It's an industrial.
It's an office block, that's for sure.
This is the industrial version that's coming towards us, the office block.
And it will make the checkered flag. Well done there to Andre van der Merwe.
So there we go. That was brilliant stuff. Class A, Marco Retta from Jesse Huggett up front, and then Cody Alberts. Class B, Graham van Rooyen from JP Share, and then Daniel Kutsia, because he went off the screen for a bit. So it is Daniel Kutsia with yet another Class B victory. So that's fantastic for him. Yet another Class A victory for Marco Retta. Yusuf Hendricks winning out Class C from Eugene Gaspar, and then behind that, Kiara van Niekerk. The leading Class D car, Gary Manwaring.
Yeah.
One of the old hands.
In that 14 car. Well done there to Gary Manwaring.
Let's see if we can pick up Class E, because we didn't get a chance to do any camera work on Class E. Oliver Hintenhouse
in Class E. And Class F is the office block. Andre van der Merwe.
And then behind that, Evert de Toy. And that's Class F. So we'll just check who our leading Class X entries were, if it stays up on the screen long enough.